today's topic is ectopic pregnancy. Ectopic pregnancy. Ec is outside, right? So outside the uterus. So ectopic pregnancy is where the fertilized ovum implants outside the uterus or occurs outside the uterus. So normally, when a man and a woman meet, a sperm is released into the vagina. So let's assume that this is the vagina, this is the cervix, this is the uterus, right, which is connected to the fallopian tube, right? So the sperms are released into the vagina, it moves through the cervix, through the uterus, and then through the fallopian tube. The ovaries releases egg and then during puberty at every 28 days, right? So it releases the egg during puberty, and then the egg waits for the sperm. So if there is no sperm to fertilize it, the egg breaks at the end of the 28 days, and then it comes as blood. That is the menses that goes on at the end of the average is 28 days, right? So let's assume that the sperms, after the egg is released, the woman meets with the man. So the egg is fertilized, and then the fertilized ovum has to be transported to the uterus and then implant, right? But some people, due to some abnormalities, the fertilized ovum is not able to get to the uterus, right, for implantation to take place. So it's either left in the ampulla of the fallopian tube, or sometimes it travels, but when it gets to the isthmus of the fallopian tube, it's left there, or sometimes it can even move from the ampulla and then implant near the ovaries, or sometimes it can even move into the peritoneal cavity. So any of these is termed as ectopic pregnancy. So ectopic pregnancy is a type of pregnancy that occurs outside the uterus, right? And it's one of the conditions that is killing most women nowadays, because in the hospitals most women present with ectopic pregnancy. There was one woman that we nearly lost at the hospital, right? And then she came to the hospital and then she was diagnosed of acute abdomen. And then all of a sudden, this woman started sweating profusely. And the sample was taken for full blood count to be done. And then the HB was low. We checked the BP was also low. So the woman was queried for ectopic pregnancy. And when the scan was taken, it was ruptured ectopic pregnancy. So it's something that is common nowadays, which we have to study about so that we can diagnose it early to prevent people with ectopic pregnancy from dying. So as I've said, ectopic pregnancy can occur, it occurs outside the uterus, and then it can occur anywhere in the fallopian tube, in the abdomen, the cervix, the ovaries. So sometimes it even bypasses the uterus and implants at the cervix, right? Okay. The most common ectopic implantation is the fallopian tube, even though it can occur in the structures that we've mentioned. The commonest part that it occurs is the fallopian tube, right? Though 10% of ectopic pregnancies can occur at the cervix, the ovaries, etc., most of them will occur in the fallopian tube. Okay, so let's look at this picture. This is an ectopic pregnancy. Someone who had ectopic pregnancy, and then the baby was removed. So let's look at the picture.
Okay, so that's
Look at causes. What can prevent the egg or the fertilized ovum from moving to implant in the uterus or the lining of the uterus, which is termed as the endometrium. Endometrium. Okay, so what can prevent this? The first one is salpingitis. Salpingitis. Salpingitis is an inflammation of the lining of the fallopian tube, right? Inflammation of the lining of the fallopian tube. Once the lining is inflamed, it means that it can narrow the opening of the fallopian tube and then prevent the fertilized ovum from getting to the uterus to implant. And then conditions like cancer of the fallopian tube. Cancer of the fallopian tube can also, so there are things that can block the lumen or the passage in the fallopian tube. Right? So cancer can also block it. Then stenosis. Stenosis can also narrow the fallopian tube, or stricture, or adhesions, endometriosis, etc. can all block the passage of the fertilized ovum and then cause it to implant outside the uterus. And then it has been found that people who use IUDs for long and then who also takes contraceptives, progesterone only contraceptives are also prone to. And then people who undergo abortions, right, can also be exposed to this condition. So previous evacuation of the uterus is also one of the things that can lead to ectopic pregnancy. Most of the time, people who are having ectopic pregnancy, it can lead to hypovolemic shock. Right, that is one of the complications. So it can lead to, because the person will be bleeding, and bleeding is also one of the complications. And it can also lead to peritonitis when it leads to it ruptures, right? So it can lead to ruptured ectopic pregnancy it can cause rupturing of the fallopian tube, which can also lead to peritonitis if not detected early and then treated, right? And most people who have this condition also die. It can also lead to anemia, right? So diagnostic investigations, most of the time you may not know, because the person, especially the person, knows that he or she is pregnant. So one thing you have to do is you have to take the sample and check for, you can take urine sample and then blood sample, right? So you can do blood pregnancy test, or you can do urine pregnancy test to check whether the woman is still pregnant, right? So most of the time, somebody who knows that she is pregnant, when you check it and then the pregnancy is negative, is one of the indications. And then you can also do abdominal ultrasound scan, or you can do human chorionic gonadotropin hormones levels. You can also check for that levels, because someone who is pregnant, the levels goes high. And then chondrosynthesis can also be done, where if it's ruptured and the person is bleeding internally, it can be, you can tap the blood through the abdomen from the cervix, right? So that is what we term as the chondrosynthesis. It's one way doctors use to diagnose ectopic pregnancy. Ectopic pregnancy. So let's look at some of the clinical manifestations of ectopic pregnancies. Some people with ectopic pregnancy come with abdominal pains or pelvic pains, and then sometimes they have amenorrhea, absence of the menses, and then sometimes they have irregular vaginal bleeding. Sometimes there is vomiting, morning sickness, there is dizziness sometimes, breast tenderness, spotting, vaginal spotting, and then sometimes there is headache. But if the pregnancy ruptures, then the pain becomes severe and it becomes sudden and intense, and then they feel dizzy because they might be bleeding inside. sometimes they go into coma, they faint. And most of the time there's signs of hypovolemic shock. So there can be tachycardia, there can be low BP, hypotension, subnormal temperature, etc. They also have pallor, and then diaphoresis, excessive sweating, is one thing that we can also. So most of the time, if you want to know whether it's ectopic pregnancy, you should check the BP and then check the HB, and then sometimes you also assess for signs of diaphoresis. This will give you an indication that it's ectopic pregnancy. Medically, the drug that is given, if it's detected early, is known as methotrexate. Methotrexate. That is the drug that is given. And then the drug stops the cells from growing, which ends the pregnancy. The pregnancy then is absorbed by the body over 4 to 6 weeks. This does not require the removal of the fallopian tube. That is when it is detected early. The drug is given and then it dissolves the pregnancy. But if it's not detected early, then surgery is done. The name of the surgery is known as salpingectomy. Salpingectomy. Like removal of the fallopian tube, salpingectomy. And then depending on where the fertilized ovum was implanted, if it was implanted close to the ovaries, and then the ovaries and then the fallopian tube is affected, then the surgery is known as salpingo-oophorectomy. Salpingo-oophorectomy. The removal of the fallopian tube as well as the ovaries, right? But if it causes a rupturing of the uterus, then it means that hysterectomy, total hysterectomy may be done, where the whole uterus is removed. The management is not different because it's done through the abdomen, right? The uterus is also an abdominal cavity, so it's done through the abdomen. So the management is similar to someone going for any abdominal surgeries. But the additional ones that we have to look at is that we have to know that the woman will breathe, right? Because the woman is losing her baby, right? So the woman will breathe, right? So we have to manage the woman through the grieving process, right? So with the grieving process, we have the dabda, right, where there will be a denial first, and then especially if it's the first pregnancy, right, and where some people, the husband will say, no baby, no home, right? So if you don't give birth, don't come home. Or where the woman have been having previous abortions, spontaneous abortions and others, right? So in this situation, it will cause the woman to grieve, right? So you have to manage the woman through the grieving process. So through the denial, the anger, the bargaining, the depression, and the acceptance. So you have to help the patient to accept the situation, right? And then is the time as nurses and doctors, we have to care for them, we have to encourage them, reassure them, especially if it's only one of the fallopian tubes that was removed. We have to assure them that the other, she can get pregnant again, because there's another one of the fallopian tubes are two, so one is kept, so she can, there's a probability that she will get pregnant again. And then you have to also encourage the husband to also care for this woman, right? This is where some men will take advantage and then try to neglect the woman and all that, right? And then you have to explain to family members that it's not spiritual. Some people will think that, oh, the woman has been cursed, or he's having some powers, he's eating her own children, right? So we have to explain to them that it can occur to every woman, and then we educate them on the condition and all that, right? So that we can prepare the woman psychologically for this. And then there's a time that the family members should also support this woman and all that, right? So that is the end of ectopic pregnancy. Ectopic pregnancy. Our next topic will be breast cancer. Breast cancer. So our next topic is breast cancer. So our next lectures. Thank you.